Hey, AD didn't get scrubbed out that bad. AD didn't get scrubbed out that bad. It looked like at first like he got knocked unconscious when the dude was stripping him out his shirt, but he ain't get knocked out that bad. He ain't get knocked. Like he ain't even get knocked out. It's just because he's bigger, it's harder for him to pick himself up. And if you look what the Puerto Rican dude did in like the first shit, he came at him and it seemed like he did something to like get his upper body or his legs, more so probably his upper body, way off balance. I could tell that punch, that wasn't even like that was probably as hard as that Puerto Rican dude could throw a punch, but it wasn't that much force behind it. The reason I say he probably did something to his upper body or his legs to get him off balance is because the way AD fell, I've fought people with that size differential between us where I'm this size. Granted, I'm like 6'4", but I'm less than 180 pounds soaking wet walking around usually. And I've fought people who was over 300 pounds and knocked them the fuck down. And every time, one time, I broke the dude's knee. Literally was on crutches for 6 weeks after, because I literally teep kicked his leg and it just went inside out. Literally, his fucking leg bent the wrong way. You could see that shit in front of the whole lunchroom. And the other one was this kid who came to my house tweaking because he thought someone in my crib sold him some fake shit, and no one did. So, like, I fucking told him to leave. He wouldn't leave. I took my hand like this. I basically, like, I punched him and choke slammed him at the same time and dragged him out the apartment by his head. So, like, that's why I'm saying that. Really, when he was smaller dude, like, versus someone like that, like, with the size differential, that's the only way that he got AD in that position is by. I'm not talking about punching him in the head, because he's just going to, like, lean back from that. But I'm talking about he had to have, like, punched through, like, somewhere right here to get him on the ground like that. Most likely, my nose dripping and everything. But you know what I'm saying? He would have had to punch through somewhere in this area from the throat to the shoulder area. Like, just put enough. He could have even knocked the wind out of him, and him in the solar plexus hard enough to do that. You feel what I'm saying? But just by the angle of shit, that's probably what happened. He probably hit him somewhere in between this area, not this area, but this area here, and with such force that it acted like a push and a punch at the same time and basically slammed him like that. I don't think he punched AD and knocked AD down like that. There's a lot of people saying like, oh, China Mac might have actually scrubbed him, da-da-da-da-da. I don't think that. If China Mac scrubbed him, AD would have looked fucked up. Depended. Because I don't even think they would have let either one of them scrub the other one out completely if that situation really happened. You can't use that situation to take away from AD fighting credit or none of that. When you haven't been in a fight, give it even like a year or 2 years, and you haven't had to defend yourself in that long, it can be easy, especially if someone else bombs first, for you to like start getting in that type of position, right? For me, for example, like I hadn't been in a fight in years when I got jumped by 4 Puerto Rican dudes out here. I hadn't gotten a fight for like probably, because the last time I had to defend myself was like 2 years after coming home from prison. That's why it took me a minute for that shit to kick in. I grabbed one of their legs while I was kicking me, and I fucking slammed them. Like, so it take a minute when you haven't been in a fight in a minute, sometimes for that shit to kick in. Especially if you comfortable. If you move in a way where you're like, oh, nobody gonna touch me because it hadn't been like that for so long. You see what I'm saying? It can be real easy for you to start slipping. Like, for example, when the 4 Puerto Rican dudes jumped me, right? I literally, because what they're accusing me of doing, I ain't did. So I'm like, I'm really thinking I could talk my way out of it, be like, I ain't robbed no shit out y'all car. Like, that ain't me. It was literally on some LA shit, too. Like, they literally jumped me because I was wearing purple camo pants. Whoever robbed shit out their car, unless that was just a cover story, was wearing purple camo pants. Ever since that situation, though, I've been extremely cautious. To the point where you just approach me a little weird, I'm going to react before you could act. You feel me? At this point. And that was a fight where I can't even say I lost that shit. I can't say they won that shit. Because when I got one of them to the ground, they all ran. You feel me? And the shit that they did, the punches they landed and shit, like, people was on here like, oh, you capping. You ain't get jumped by no 4 Mexicans. I'm like, yes, I did. Yes, I fucking did. And the police probably thought they kidnapped me. Like, I heard a fucking bird in the air. I heard a fucking helicopter flying overhead like an hour later at like 1 a.m. And I'm like, yeah, that's too coincidental. Cause I know if I was the police, I pulled up somewhere where I heard like 4 dudes was fighting one person. And there's nobody there now, and I know they hopped out of a car. I'm gonna be like, I'll literally walk past the police coming home. You feel what I'm saying? Like, walk past them motherfuckers while they responding to the shit, going right where this shit just happened at. I know who probably called the police for that. It was this dude in the truck who drove by and seen the shit, and he was like, come on! Up the side of the truck at them motherfuckers, because motherfuckers love me out here. So, oh damn. So yeah, I don't know if AD got his ass whooped as bad as people trying to say. Like, you gotta understand, he's a bigger dude. Once you get him to the ground, obviously you could strip him out his shirt and shit. How much harder do you think it's gonna be for him to get up? Especially if he's on his back. You feel what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know, I've seen a lot of people trying to tarnish AD reputation. The funny thing about this, bro, is it make OT Genesis look like, I'd be like, yo, is OT Genesis like a bodyguard now? Is that what he's doing? Is he like a bodyguard now? Cause that motherfucker, bro, that standing guillotine was clean. He had that shit cinched, bro. Like, oh my mama. Bro, like, nah, like, I don't think AD got his, cause it's the fact, as soon as they separate, AD able to get to his feet. But you gotta understand how much harder it is for him to get to his feet. That's why I say, if I'm fighting someone and they over, especially like 250 pounds, like I thought someone was 400 pounds. What did I do? I punched him in the throat. And I made sure I bombed first. Both times I had to bomb first. And I made sure I did it in a way where they were not expecting it, and it was with enough force they were gonna go to the ground. I was at the adjudicated school out here. I just come back on Interstate Compact from being in Detroit and being in Wayne County. So what I did, we in front of the whole lunchroom. He shoved me, I shove him, he shoves me, I kick his kneecap with a front kick backwards. His leg was bending like it bends when you bend it backwards, going frontwards. You see what I'm saying? The shit was bent the wrong way. He was on crutches for like 6 weeks after that. That's why I moved out here, because I'm like, all the worst people in this region know who I am because they was all at that school. So nobody gonna fuck with me out here. Because they see me take the biggest motherfucker in that school and crumple him with one hit. I one-hitter quittered that motherfucker. Like, I remember the principal telling me and my mom, when she came to get me, he was like, yeah, you didn't break Justin's knee. God did that shit. God was with you on that. Because if he had got a hold of you, come on, it's the only motherfucker in the school who's bigger than me. Like, I'm 6'4" at this time. I'm the same height I am now. He's a good 2 inches taller than me and like 315. He's at least got to be like 350. At the time, I was around like 280. I was almost 300 consistently. I never reached 300, but I was always, because I was on like Risperdal and shit from being in a group homes and being juvie. So I was bigger, but I was still 6'4". He's the only kid, height-wise and weight-wise, bigger than me in this school. And yeah, he fucking would have fucked me up if he got a hold of me. I'm not gonna hold you. But I said, I know if I just put this right amount of force through his knee, like I don't try to contact his knee, I'm gonna try to kick his leg, I'm trying to kick right behind it and go through that bitch. I knew that motherfucker would fall down. I didn't know I was gonna break his leg, but I knew that was a possibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, that's probably what happened. The Puerto Rican guy, I don't think he kicked his leg because AD got up. He wouldn't have got up if his leg was broken. He wouldn't have been able to. You feel what I'm saying? So I think he just happened to off balance. Plus, if AD's drunk, that's gonna be easier. Off balance him, hit him with a punch, hit him with anything to this area, like the throat to like the upper, like right between the shoulders, solar plexus area. In certain forms of fighting, like parts of the body are sectioned off. Like you're taught to like, okay, this is square one, this is square two, this is the lower chest is another square. Like it's not in every form of fighting, but a lot of trainers will tell you like, okay, you section it off into like, you want to have the abdomen divided in 2 sections. Because the upper part is going, and you learn this a lot in shit like judo and shit. The upper part of the abdomen is what you use to off balance a bigger opponent. So that, like I say, there's no rules in a street fight. So the weight class thing isn't as much a factor because there's a lot of underhanded ass shit. And I know from experience as a smaller dude that you can do against a bigger dude. And that bigger dude might not get up at all. You feel me? He might not. If you punch someone in the throat the wrong way, you might kill them. That's why when I punched that one kid in the throat where it was like a choke slam, I didn't punch him. I used what's called a claw strike. I took my hand just like this, and he dropped, bro. He dropped because the combination of the pressure point hitting your Adam's apple, which if you punch too hard, you could kill somebody. So that's why they teach you do it like this. It was the combination of that with the force I hit it with. It off-balanced him. So once I'm connected, I put more force, he goes down. It's like choke slamming a person without lifting them. And then I was able to just keep my hand throttled on his neck like this and drag him out the apartment by that in his hair. Right as my fucking mother-in-law is pulling up with my wife to drop groceries off. That shit was wild. That shit was wild. I'm literally one hand on the door, open, right back on his hair, dragging this kid out the apartment. And he had the nerve to try to ask my mother-in-law for a ride home. Bitch, my mother-in-law ain't getting lined up like that. She said, fuck out of here. She drove off. On my mama. She knew him too because of my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law knew him somehow. So yeah, man. Like that's how I knew him was through my wife. That's why he came to my apartment, like thinking we sold him some fake shit. And eventually was like, yo, I was like, if I'm gonna have to do what I'm gonna have to do if you ain't gonna leave. I made him leave. Like, you feel me? Like, so don't be thinking like AD got scrubbed out or nothing like that. He ain't necessarily get scrubbed out. Like, because he's a bigger dude, like techniques like I'm talking about are illegal in martial arts. That's why like the weight classes is more of a thing because in martial arts you can't punch somebody in the throat. It's a DQ. You feel what I'm saying? They would count this as a punch to the throat. So it's a lot of shit. Like you can't, and the other thing too is in MMA, you cannot blatant choke somebody like that. It has to be a hold. It cannot be just like a, you feel what I'm saying? So it is what it is, but yeah, I don't think AD got scrubbed out. I think someone just, like the dude just happened to off balance him. And luckily OT Genesis was there, and OT Genesis know what they would be like a rapper security guard nowadays. I'm out this bitch, man. Stay safe. Hey, I'm gonna go live when shit be like 720, like a good credit scope.